chasing, running with my head in the clouds. I'm tired, but I'm trying to be patient, putting in my 10,000 hours, my 10,000 hours.
Yo, it's Reaction LJ. Today we're diving into something seriously creepy. Nick Poe and Nick Cowley exposing the darkest corners of Instagram. Let's get into it. Okay. It's starting off pretty, not too bad, I might say. Instagram, darkest rabbit hole. Was it last year?
It's Saturday night. A bridge collapses in China. Twisters makes its worldwide debut. And over in one of Reddit's darkest corners, a peculiar mystery awaits. A user named Maria has just uncovered a series of Instagram accounts, all equally unsettling, uncanny, and terrifying. I came across a post on r/Instagram where someone mentioned these creepy Instagram accounts of people who are seemingly pretending to be kids. It reminds me of Pipergate in a way, and I feel like all of these pages
do remind you of like Overwatch or Overgame, depending on what you're playing.
Many of the photos on this account are an edit of this goofy face on a real person's body, and a lot of the bodies are in suggestive poses.
I can't believe it!
With Maria's post are photos from 3 accounts, all exhibiting highly similar behavior. Truthsticks11, Stephanie Schooley,
That's
and
why
Smart Schoolboy
y'all don't show it.
At a cursory glance,
I
it's
might
clear
wanna
that
look it
all
up.
of these
Hey.
are connected.
Hey, if y'all go and actually find this page, tell me what did y'all see, or what made y'all want to like look at it, or want to like leave and think, hey, I need to think about deleting Instagram quick and fast.
They all incorporate images of children, edited in a way in which their faces rest in the
Why?
trenches of the uncanny valley.
Like, do y'all take like
They
the
all
picture of the
exhibit
children,
heavy synthetic
then
makeup,
edit in a creepy,
have massive
Mustang
lips.
way that
Their heads are
no one
disproportionate.
should ever
The
see?
saturation seems
Because
to
that
be
way
cranked
it's
up.
making me feel like
All of these
that
rest
y'all
at the
do,
precipice of visual
did.
overload and absolute depravity. Walls of text are thrown in our face about school, friends, things they're interested in, entire facets of their lives. But it's clear that these quote-unquote children, as they're presented, do not even exist.
Wait a minute, what?
Nothing. Is this supposed to be like the downfall of it? It's supposed to, but I don't know if it's supposed to be like a downfall.
It goes without saying that we've seen this type of behavior before. People online
What
trying
y'all
their
mean?
hand at creating an ARG in hopes of generating online attention and viral clicks. But even still, I wonder, is this what we're dealing with here? On the account TruthSticks11, many of the early posts carry a considerable amount of irony. Their uploads take an almost condescending tone, lambasting the rise of online predators, following and commenting on the profiles of young boys. They take on this alias of an overly concerned parent and make post after post after post, sharing advice about potential danger online. In many ways, this contradicts everything we've seen so far in our limited investigation. This doesn't exactly add up, especially considering that just a few months later, and completely out of nowhere, TruthSticks begins to exhibit the very behavior they're criticizing. From March 2022 and onward, they morph from a concerned parent on a mission against online predators to displaying images of their supposed son in compromising positions, sharing a myriad of highly disturbing photo edits, and even begin to follow a handful of accounts that immediately set off red flags.
I think
TruthSticks11's
Instagram
erratic
allowing
behavior
this
appears
person
like
to
one
make
massive
videos like this,
self-report.
but who be
Someone on
doing
a
this?
tirade
Who
against the
had the
very
time
thing
to
they
take
turned out
images
to be,
of
or
actual
perhaps have
kids
been all
and
along?
create them into
None of this
something
made
that
any
don't
sort of
make
sense,
no
leading
sense
many
to be
to
created?
speculate that, while yes, this is insanely creepy, is any of it real? What in the actual fuck? Really fucking weird. Not really sure the reason behind it. Maybe to groom kids or something, but it's really odd. This is probably the most disturbing thing ever uncovered. People left and right poured in, eager to find out who was doing this and why. It took hardly any time at all for Redditors to uncover other accounts in the same vein too, as TruthSticks and Schoolboy were far from the only ones involved here. As it turned out, there was a schoolgirl Teresa, New Girl 12, a Stephanie Stansfield, and a trove of others, all spread out across various social platforms. By outward appearances, and with so many accounts involved, this almost looks like it's being done by a group. I mean, it has to be. They talk to each other, like each other's photos. There's no way this Schoolboy dude has enough time to run all of these, especially for something like an ARG, right? Well, not exactly.
Wait,
You
what?
see, Schoolboy, across all of his accounts, has a very, very strange way of putting on various personas. And on nearly every single video,
Why did this start glitching out? No. We ain't come in here to find something like this. We ain't come here to understand the dark. Wait, we did actually came here to understand the darkness.
before this video entered production, the profile of Smart Schoolboy 9, the centerpiece of this story, one of the only accounts with original, uploaded videos by a discernible person, was taken down. It's
Why?
unclear if this was done because of policy violations or if he's scrubbing his online presence, but as it stands, this one is gone. That's not to say that there aren't archives though. So pardon the
Yeah,
potato
and not
quality.
to say there are not other people that doing the same thing on Instagram that you're doing. Who's saying there are not people doing that? Still.
On the Smart Schoolboy 9 account, we can find a plethora of images and video of what appears to be a man dressed up in a school uniform. We can see him outside on walks, getting ready for school, and showing off his mini boots that he has a very strong fascination
what
with.
this red supposed to be?
It goes without saying that this person is nowhere near the age of a child, despite his efforts to appear that way. On nearly all of his
Is he
captions,
acting like he
he
a
talks
kid?
about his life in
Or
school,
like,
his experiences with other boys, reportedly also aged 8, 9, and 10, and even appears to gain access to classrooms on multiple occasions. So far, this behavior is incredibly weird and repulsive. However, these videos aren't outright illegal. Because of this, and combined with the activity on Truthsticks, some have passed this entire thing off as nothing but a massive LARP. Someone with far too much free time on their hands, and with very, very weird fixations. But after diving into this a bit more, though, I found that that isn't quite the case.
wait, what?
There's something I gotta show you.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Called Stephanie. Since the creation of this page, he's gone forth to make a Twitter account, a Facebook page, and even numerous other Instagram
Why
handles,
make all the
all
accounts?
under this alias.
What are you getting out
While he
from
gives his
making
other
all the
pages
accounts
a
for?
considerable amount of
Like, there's
attention,
gotta be a
he,
reason
for
for you
some
to make
reason,
all the
took a
accounts.
strange liking to
And,
this
and
one
what type
in
of
particular.
sapphire station or
All across
hacking that you
Stephanie's
get
profiles,
from
he
making
can be
all the
seen
accounts?
dressing as her, discussing their experience in grade school, and weirdest of all,
I can't believe what I'm seeing.
Daily Capper, Stephanie Stansfield.
From Stephanie Stansfield. Me and Morfoot, Milton Keynes, MK11, dressed for school. I really love it in year 7, and I love writing poetry. My Morfoot music heart, I race to complete my poems when I've got an early start. Heart racing, mixed
This
race
dude should have
rhythms,
been already
maximizing
in
miracles.
jail already.
Rice with rap on the
Like,
map, my Kennington
what
London
is
syllables.
wrong with
Dancing though
y'all
I know my
making
underwear
this
might
type of
show if
video?
I lean forward.
He should already be in
Good.
jail already.
Aside from the repulsive celebration of being able to spot a child's underwear, Stephanie makes a reference to Milton Keynes, a region just north of London in the UK. This, combined with various other media he shared, quickly led onlookers to realize that this man has been making his rounds across the city of London for years. Also in this post are clear references to poetry, something we'll find to come up later. Upon searching for the name Stephanie
yo.
Stansfield on Google,
Nick
we're able to
Howard
find traces of this
in the
person
mist
in the
too?
wild.
This is
For
actually about to
instance,
get
hidden
deep.
on a random
If
page of
Nick
the Kennington
Howard
Runoff, a
in
news
the mist
website
too,
serving the
you
titular
know how
neighborhood in
deep
South
it gonna
London,
get right
we
now?
can see Stephanie chiming in on an article about a youth club. Here, though, their mannerisms surprisingly appear a bit tamer. Are there any unusual or rare pictures including landing areas, lifts, etc. of Caring Point? The tower block that stood at Hotspur Street from 1969 to 2000? I learned what happened to Caring Point, but have yet to find any demolition pictures, even on the 20th anniversary of its demolition, or pictures of the play space that temporarily replaced the building.
Hey bros, what's going on? This is Cotton Eye. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.
My God, that is right. That probably not Stephanie Field. That person named probably not Stephanie Fanfield. You're on something. You're really on something.
And poetry. It's like that persona's gone. You know, part of me wants to believe that this person has no ties to the rabbit hole, but even here, I noticed that they just couldn't help
That
themselves.
person gotta have ties to the rabbit hole.
Stephanie
You have to-
Stansfield inquired about a
there's no
play
way.
area, a place
way.
obviously
You have to have
associated
ties
with
to that rabbit hole.
kids. Doing any research online about this alleged play place leads to nothing. It existed for such a short period of time that hardly anyone recalls that it was even there. It was a blip in history, so insignificant and overshadowed by the disaster that came before it that it's hardly worth mentioning. Yet Stephanie recalls it to such a degree that they've been on the hunt for any pictures of it. This also seems like even as far back as the year 2000, this person was hanging around play areas, leading me to wonder, Was he up to his same antics back then, or is this act fairly recent? Also on the internet is another link, this time leading us to a PDF file of a 2018 publication by a London charity called the Streatham Society. Within this, they share a myriad of news and happenings around this area of London. However, on page 11, they include a segment called the Poetry Corner, in which we can spot a very familiar name.
Wait.
Hi to the Streatham Society. I'm
What-
Stephanie
what
Stansfield
name?
and Shy. I'm 12 years of
Uh-huh.
age, year 7. I'm London born and lived in Streatham for a while. I've written a poem. I asked my half-brother what he remembers about the area. Then I put my thoughts onto paper. I could have written much more, but I wanted to keep it short, and yet still include a little tribute to June Whitfield. So it's as if I've traveled through time to include so much. I hope my poem is of some use. Yours sincerely, Stephanie. After glancing at her writing, it's abundantly clear that this poem was not written by a 12-year-old. It shares details of buildings that were there in the 1990s, as well as references to TV actors that
Hey, there's no way that poem was written by a 12-year-old, because no 12-year-old would know building from 19-something. And then children put actual actor reference in there. No children would know. A 12-year-old wouldn't even know anything about that until they get close to a high school.
supposedly fed her this information about his life growing up in London decades prior. It's her half-brother, someone who's old enough to remember all of this. It's someone called David.
David.
Back on Reddit, investigators were on a similar path. The name David was circulating as a potential suspect for days, catalyzed by first-hand accounts of those who had encountered a very similar man to this in the wild. Redditors from his area shared tales of a local figure, a man who would dress up like a child, making his rounds as far south as London, and as far north
No!
as Doncaster.
So that... No! That just blew my mind. That's crazy.
I'll be quite honest,
That actually
I
blew
was
my
really surprised
mind.
when this guy popped up
As
on my
you
local
know,
city's
you realize
subreddit.
that.
It's like one of them things that scared you as a child, then something reminds you of that as an adult, and it puts you back a bit. We're
It
talking
do.
like 14-ish years back. I'm 28, almost 29 now. So he lived on my street while I was in my last few years of secondary school and first few years of college, age
Alright.
14 to 17.
I
He was very well known by pretty much everyone who lived around that area. There was even a video of him at one point titled Donnie Legend. Me and my brother looked for this today, but couldn't find it. It must be at least 14 to 15 years old now though, so it may be deleted. He spent a lot of time wearing his school uniform. Usually the skirt and boots look, but sometimes a suit.
Why?
Basically the exact
Why
same
go
look from his
and
recent
try
pictures,
dress up in
just with a different school uniform.
Like a little kid.
He carried around a
When
little
you getting
lunchbox
out
with a
this-
mirror glued to one side of it. He
Like,
used to stand
you
behind
gotta get
trees
some
and
type
watch
of
people in the
feeling to
reflection.
be dressing up like
He
this.
used to follow kids
You
home
got
from
to.
school, going tree
But
to
there's
tree.
no reason
There were
or
a few
no
times
way
he was caught
you got to
looking
feel
through
to
people's
be
living room
dressing
windows
up like this.
that had confronted him in the past. My brothers and stepdad had a few altercations with him. My stepdad and mom especially didn't feel safe living on the same street as him and didn't like how close he lived to the local school, about a 50-second walk. The police were
50
called more
seconds?
times than I'd
Whoa,
like to count,
that's too close.
and they were
That's
never
too
ever
close
concerned.
to the school.
He never
A
committed a
50
crime, according to them.
Second
They were
walk
very
or a
concerned
50
for his
minute
safety
walk?
in this.
Bro, that a
He
50
was
minute
always
walk or a
seen
50
as such a
second walk
danger,
is
but
too
I
close.
honestly just
Way
assumed,
too close.
stupidly
That way
as a
too
naive
close to the
teenager,
school,
that
right
this
there.
guy didn't know how to use the internet, or at the very least was monitored. It's horrible he's turned up online, though. I'm glad I can now be sure he's left the local city. My daughter starts secondary school next year, and I'm glad he won't be around to terrorize her. I just wish and hope that the authorities would protect the school kids where he is. This man is a known creep. I used to work at the court 20 years ago, and he was in court in the paper several times for approaching and writing to underage girls while wearing makeup and young girl style clothing. He usually got away without conviction because the courts believed that he didn't intend to do any wrong. He was trying to speak to those girls because he wholeheartedly believed.
Bruh, y'all let him go because y'all thought he wasn't trying to do anything bad? How slow are y'all?
A girl of that age. With the claim that this person was roaming neighborhoods as far as 14 years back, along with the statement that schoolboy had wound up in court 20 entire years ago for writing to underage
20
girls. Even then,
years
it's
ago?
apparent that he's far
You say
older
20
than
entire
I
years, but I
initially
just say
thought.
20 years ago.
This is how he remembers Karen Point. This is how Stephanie knew so much about an era she never lived in. Doing the math here, at minimum, Smart Schoolboy 9 is at least 40 years old.
So he's not 27. So he's not even in his 20s.
Whoa!
Said he was called David. For decades, this man has been haunting neighborhoods around the UK, approaching children that are
How
likely
y'all
afraid of him,
allowing this dude
posting
to
pictures
haunt
of those that have no
neighborhood
knowledge of
in
his
the
existence,
UK
and gravitating towards
approach
schools,
kids
seemingly
like
under
it's
the
nothing?
belief that he's a
Like y'all
child.
even try to stop him or
Online
any
activity by
that
this
shit
person,
about
in which he's
anything
well-spoken
that
and
he
drops
do.
the act, though. Like on his Facebook. He makes it clear that he knows what he's doing. This person is real, and this person is active. A local boogeyman, if you will, that shows no signs of stopping.
Before we end it off, I got a question. It's like a deep question. Cause I need y'all to comment this down in the comments or on my Instagram. Do you think this subreddit should have been taken down years ago, or should y'all take it down now? It definitely need to. Alright, I gotta chill, bro. Like, I actually gotta chill.
With the
What do
rise
y'all
of the
think
internet,
this really means?
David has harnessed
Like,
social media to express his
bro,
desires,
I'm about to have to
utilizing
chill,
heavily
and I
filtered
need
and
y'all
often
to tell me
AI-generated
what this
images of
whole
kids
video
to
really
toe the
means to
line
y'all.
of legality. Like we've seen on many of his posts, he emulates parents, putting on a facade of concern.
What are you trying to do?
Across his many
Reason
profiles,
that you gotta
he
walk
follows
and
a
put on
laundry
an
list of
act
kids.
for no reason.
At the end of the
And then
day,
you doing this on social
Schoolboy and
media?
his plethora of alts
On
are just the tip of
IG?
the iceberg. And for all we know, countless other accounts could be hiding in the void of cyberspace. Personas
It's probably
emulating
hiding in the
children,
cloud, not in
interacting
cyberspace.
with children,
But
and
it's
creating
probably hiding
edits
there
of
too.
real kids that have no idea they're being posted online. This man follows countless minors, and whether he's physically harmed or has endangered
Minors?
any of them in the
So
real
he don't
world,
follow nobody
at this
around
point,
his
we
age
have no idea.
or who is 27 years old or older?
Going by one of his videos,
What the
however,
f is wrong with you? You're insane.
I truly hope that this isn't the case.
That was wild. Huge pros to Nick Poe and Nick Cowley for digging into this. If y'all want more creepy deep dives like this, let me know below. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that post notification bell if you ain't scared. We got more creepy reactions dropping every week.